Howdy, Michael, Mercedes guy, and we're going to do a little tutorial on hood stars and hood star bases. Now, on your earlier cars, early 60s, there were only 4 components. Your base with the cross piece here, your hood star with a hole right here, the hook, and the spring. So now do note there's different lengths. This longer one is for this type that has a collar. We'll do that in a little bit. We're going to start off with the earliest. So what you want to do is slide this in your spring first. Then take a look at your hood star. There'll be an angle to it. The fat end goes forward on your car. Then take a look at your star. It has a slight bend. The bend is to the back. So once you know that orientation, then the smallest of the hook end you put through the hole in the base of the star. I'm looking again. Okay, that goes that way. Okay, next step is to pad your vise and slip the star down in here and pinch that star carefully. Now the loop is sticking up just a little bit, so you can use another piece of wire and get in that loop, and then use a pair of vice grips. And then as you push the base down, you pull the hook up and over that, and then it's hooked. Now sometimes the hook is not visible, and in that case you'll have to use a piece of wire to hook onto the loop down in there and pull up so that the hook is available. And when that's the case, now I'm going to show how to do this without the star, just so that you'll see the trick. Just easier to show. So when that hook does, when you have the wire on it, when it does come up far enough, you can actually push an ice pick in here and grab it and then twist it and it'll lock. Because you may not be able to pull it far enough with the wire you're using, just because it takes a lot of force and the hook on your wire is going to straighten out. So as soon as you get it up far enough to get an ice pick under there, then forget about the wire and use your ice pick. Okay, now on the different style, this is a 114 style, they have an additional collar. So in that case, what you do, again, lock this in your vise, and let's put it in the vise here. Again, using a pair of vice grips. I'm going to take it apart. So with this collar type, you've got your hook, your spring and your collar, and a hole. So you shove this down over the hook and use your vice grips. Now, you want to put your vice grips up kind of high on the collar so you've got room to push the collar down. Push down and turn it so the hook goes in the hole. Now there's also another type. Here it is here. That instead of having a hole for the end of the hook, they use a short cross pin. So it's the same thing. You push down with vice grips until the hook becomes visible. Then put in the cross pin. Now if you don't have a cross pin, a piece of welding rod will work. And you want to use welding rod rather than wire. A gas welding rod is a little bit stiffer and will last longer. So you can just cut off a piece of welding rod. I'll do it here. Make sure your pin is the right length. There we go. Oh, this already has a spring in it. Okay, good. Okay. And get set up and ready with your pin and a little pair of needle nose pliers. Okay, put your vice grips on in the right orientation. Push down here. Slip your pin in and release. And then you've got your hood star together. Now there's also the later type hood star where there's really not much hope for putting the star in the base. In fact, when you buy them, the base is already on. So, how does this attach? Well, your hole in your grill is kind of an hourglass shape. And, or maybe like that. And you slide it in, and this is important. You want to have this piece of metal up on the bosses. If you can see, there's a little raised boss there. You slip it into the grill, and then you grab this and pull and turn. And that locks it into the grill. To remove, the same process reverse. You pull from underside and turn so that those are up on the bosses. Then you can pop the star out. Now, the earlier stars that are like so, they use a clip to hold them in, and of different sizes. This is the later, this is an earlier clip. And the clip is with this hook down, and usually it's assembled like so in your car with that locked all the way. Now, whenever you're installing a hood star or removing, if you have a helper, great. He can hold on to the star at all times, because you don't want that thing rolling down your hood and cracking your windshield. If you don't have a helper, fold a blanket many times and lay them at the base of your windshield, so in case it rolls down, it's not going to crack it. And to remove these, you can use a hooked wire through this little hole and give a yank, or lots of times just a pair of pliers and wiggle it and give a yank. And then that comes off and you pull off the assembly. Any questions? You can always contact me.